All right. Symbiosis between humans and nature is not limited to forests and plants. Forests are biomes, a biological community of life forms that have developed together in response to a physical environment. This community is adapted in harmony, diverse forms of life we can see, plants, animals, and insects, as well as invisible microbes, bacteria, fungi, and more. They are all dependent on one another to thrive. This symphony of nature is all around us, just as Andrew mentioned moments ago. But did you know that these biological communities also exist within us, within each of you? Just as the greater biome of forests contributes to our well-being when we are immersed in nature, there is great power of your own personal microbiome. As a specialist in infectious diseases, microbes have been central to my study of how we stay well for over 3 decades. Your body's microbiome functions like a huge invisible organ, and it plays as important a role as your heart, skin, lungs, and brain. What do I mean by invisible? You're made up of almost 70 trillion cells, but less than half of those cells are human. I'm pausing for dramatic effect. The rest are what's known as your microbiome, a vast, diverse ecosystem of microbes all throughout your body. That's right, you're more microbiome than human, if you think about it that way. For some, the idea of microbes can be uncomfortable, but the microbes I want to talk about today are often our guardians, our allies against bad bacteria. When you take care of your microbiome, it takes care of you. These microbes are our friends. They've been on our side your whole life, and you just haven't known it, felt it, or been able to see it. How? When your microbiome is healthy, the unwanted bacteria, the pathogenic bacteria, have trouble colonizing and infecting us if our good bacteria are filling up all the rooms in your gut hotel. When your gut lining is well colonized by the good bacteria in your microbiome, they crowd out the bad. There's simply no vacancy for a pathogen to land, colonize, and infect. Your microbiome is foundational for your systemic health and wellness. I know we use the word foundational about several thousand times a day around here. Like our lifestyle habits, nutrition, digestion, metabolism, and of course, we just talked about sleep. But if you want to be proactive about your health and wellness, it is incredibly important to pay attention to these foundations every day. It's no accident that these are the first 3 foundational layers of the doTERRA Wellness Pyramid. And your microbiome is not only influencing all of these foundational platforms, it is also supported or disrupted by the lifestyle decisions you make in these areas. This is why the doTERRA Wellness Lifestyle works. Yeah. 70% of your immune system resides in your gut. And I'm going to say that again. 70% of your immune system resides in your gut. Your gut microbiome is the mother lode. A healthy, balanced gut microbiome is key to your overall health. It impacts your digestive health, gut barrier integrity, gut immune function, micronutrient absorption, your metabolism, and even your mental health, mood, and ability to cope with stress. Thanks to the marvels of the bidirectional axis of the gut-brain connection. But you have distinct and unique microbiomes beyond the gut. Just like different natural habitats, your body has various niches where microbes reside, such as your skin, mouth, urogenital tract, and other mucous membranes. No matter where you look in the body, you'll find communities of these tiny organisms living there, thriving there, and helping you. In short, these microbiomes help keep us in a state of wellness. They play a role in regulation of metabolic functions, supporting our cardiovascular health, oral health, skin health, and the health of your internal tissues, reproductive health, and hormonal health. I could go on and on and on. Are you starting to see why I love the microbiome so much? Now you're starting to see the world through my glasses. And is it becoming clear that macro changes to your health start with your microbiome? So what keeps this vast invisible organ healthy and functioning at its best? The organisms in your microbiome live better as a community than individually, meaning they are stronger together, kind of like all of us. Diversity is not only the spice of life for human communities, but it's also the key to the health of your microbiome. Research into the microbiome has exploded, with hundreds of thousands of articles being published in recent years. Research confirms that cultivating a wide array of microbes in your gut makes your microbiome more capable and resilient. If one beneficial microbe can't fulfill its function in your body's microbiome, another can step in and take its place. We've also learned that this all-important diversity of the microbiome declines as we age. This decline is part of the aging process that we can measure. Therefore, if we want to live our healthiest lives possible and increase our health span, we need to improve and maintain the diversity of our microbiome throughout our lives. Another threat to this diversity is how our microbiomes are disrupted and limited by our modern lifestyle of convenience. Too much of our food supply is processed, which harms the microbiome. Routine antibiotic misuse in industrial agriculture is also a big part of the problem. 75% of the world's food is generated from only 12 plants and 5 animals. This incredible lack of diversity in our modern diet leads to a lack of biodiversity in our microbiome. Our modern food systems are effectively starving your microbiome of the diversity it needs to thrive. So what can you and I do to replenish and restore the microbiome? First, eat a diverse whole food diet. The more colorful, the better. And avoid processed food, which harms the microbiome. Next, the data tells us that many people in America are already taking a probiotic. That's a good start. But are they taking the right probiotic? No. You guys are so good. You crack me up. No. Microbiome science and research is moving fast, like I said earlier, and not all supplements are keeping up with the advancements. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time we all get more proactive with our microbiome health. It's time to introduce you to the most cutting-edge, exciting product I've seen in my 3 decades of studying microbes, the doTERRA PB Restore Probiome Complex.
I was not aware of all the things that your microbiome can affect.
Everything returned to normal bowel movements, which is, beautiful. If anybody suffers from issues with that, you're happy to have that under control.
The poop is good. I've just seen less bloating. I've seen less bloating post-meal, less gas.
So a lot of times when people think of the microbiome, they just think of gut and digestion, but it is so much more than that.
My skin started to clear up. And I don't have a ton of skin problems, but what has happened with my skin as a result of taking the microbiome products was a very pleasant surprise.
I think the biggest thing that I wasn't expecting and that I noticed was the change in my hormones, especially my cycle.
But I think the biggest compliment came from my husband, because I am much calmer that time of the month. He specifically asked me, what are you doing differently? And I said, wow, the Microbiome products are working. That's a win.
I was shocked about the way that this product made me feel mentally. When I came to my husband and I said, my mood has just been incredible the last few days. And he was like, me too. I just wasn't expecting that.
And then with my sleep, I was sleeping so much better. I was falling asleep so much quicker and I was staying asleep, which also had a lot to do with like my mood too, because I was actually getting restful night's sleep.
As we're learning how important the microbiome is, it's so great that it doesn't have to be hard to support our bodies in this. We have something that we can get in our cupboards and just reach for, and it's so convenient.
Wow.